On Global TV News Prime, Tinubu hails Supreme Court judgment affirming local government autonomy. Appeal Court upholds Ododo's election as Kogi governor. In business, representatives ask federal government to revisit school feeding program. On the foreign scene, Kenya's President Ruto dismisses almost entire cabinet after a nationwide protest. In sports, LeBron Curry impressed as USA romp past Canada in Olympic warm-up. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. I am Uyi Agmofewe. Tonight, we begin by telling you President Bola Tinubu has lauded the Supreme Court's judgment affirming the constitutional right of local governments, emphasizing its critical role in advancing effective governance at the grassroots level. In a press release, President Tinubu highlighted the importance of the judgment, describing it as a reaffirmation of the Constitution. The statement was signed by Tinubu's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale. He noted that ineffective local government administration has been a significant obstacle to national progress, with governance at the grassroots level nearly non-existent. Vice President Kashif Shettima stressed the need for improved data collection, analysis, and deployment of technology to generate more comprehensive and inclusive evidence to guide government decisions, investment choices, and pathway to development. The Vice President said deploying the best technology to strengthen data systems and institutions, upgrading human resources and capacities, as well as promoting partnerships that will facilitate generating and using inclusive data will guarantee a resilient and equitable future for all Nigerians. The Nigeria Labour Congress says it will press for 250,000 naira minimum wage during a planned meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the State House today. Head of Public Affairs of the Congress, Benson Upa, stated that Labour would insist on its 250,000 naira proposal during the meeting with the President. Labour leaders were invited to the meeting with President Tinubu in furtherance of his promise to hold more consultations with stakeholders on the minimum wage. Kebbi State government has reiterated its commitment to continue to promote culture and tradition to strengthen the unity of the people. The State's Commissioner for Information and Culture, Yakubu Kebbi, stated these are the first Unity Cultural Festival organized by the Ministry of Information and Culture at Haliru Abdu Stadium in Breni, Kebbi. Kikelamo Okere completes the report.
Culture has colossal potency for unity and social cohesion among diverse groups in the society. As such, the administration of Nasir Idris of Kebbi State says it will incorporate promotion of culture among its policy trusts. Kebbi State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Yakubu Ahmed Binin Kebbi, says Governor Kaura Gwandu has placed premium on developing culture for social cohesion, unity and economic growth, hence his support to the Ministry of Information and Culture to stage the first cultural festival of unity in the state.
The culture that we have too, the vast culture, very rich, and we first the need at the ministry level for the first time in the history of Kebbi State to organize independently a mini cultural show that will feature all the ethnic, some of the ethnic groups that we have in Kebbi State. And the idea is to show the culture, enjoy it, and explore the possibilities of uniting the state. And about 13 ethnic groups. That tells you that we are looking for unity in diversity, and I think it's going to be a yearly affair from now on.
The permanent secretary in the ministry, Seidu Buhari Wara, urged participants to use the platform as a veritable tool for peace and unity in the society. He further urged artists and performers to strive to instill virtue of tolerance through their performance into farmers and others to enhance economic fortune and peace.
Let me use the medium to urge the participants to see the forum like this as a veritable tool through which peace, unity, and diverse cultural heritage is transmitted and promoted.
To make it known that, Insha'Allah, this event is going to be sustained we are collaborating, my office is collaborating with the Honorable Commissioner of Information to see that peace and unity, particularly the propagation of government programs and activities, are carried out in the state.
Among the groups that showcase cultural talent were Fulani, Zambara, Dikaki, Kambari, Tiv, Igbo, and Yoruba, to the delight of spectators. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kike Lomo. President Bola Tinubu has approved a gathering of African descendants in Abuja. The event, scheduled for October 24, is expected to draw over 2,000 participants from across the globe. The homecoming event, organized by African Descendants in Diaspora Union in partnership with the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, aims to strengthen ties between Nigeria and its diaspora community. The appeal court in Abuja has confirmed Usman Ododo's election as governor of Kogi State. A three-member panel of the court delivered a judgment dismissing the election petition filed by the Social Democratic Party and its governorship candidate, Murtala Ajaka. The appellate court dismissed the appellant's claims, saying that they failed to present credible evidence to substantiate their allegations of electoral malpractices, overvoting, and certificate forgery. The Senate has rejected a bill seeking to use gold to shore up the nation's reserves in defense of the economy. The bill, sponsored by Sani Musa, was thrown out after a debate by lawmakers who opposed it. Musa stated that the bill was read for the first time on Tuesday, February 20, 2024, noting that the bill sought to repeal the Foreign Exchange, Monitoring and Miscellaneous Provision Act, Cap F34, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and established foreign exchange markets in Nigeria to make provisions for control, monitoring, and supervision of transactions conducted in the foreign exchange market. The Military High Command says it has put in place measures to forestall plans of the enemies to target some critical infrastructure in the country. Addressing journalists on the operational activities of the troops in the various theaters of operations, Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said security agencies responsible for securing critical infrastructure and facilities have been placed on alert. Kike Lomo Okeri tells us more.
Major General Edward Buba says the military is keeping up the pressure through ongoing operation in 5 active theaters across the country, with the northeast and northwest having the highest level of intensity. He noted that the operations are complex as troops are engaged in fighting in difficult terrain and adversaries that adopt various forms across the country.
That they even get women in their camps for their pleasures. All these add to the complexities of our ongoing operation. In essence, the terrorists have a support base of collaborators, and we must fish out these collaborators. That is the reason I keep repeating that winning the war without the support of the people is close to impossible.
In the South-South zone, the director says the troops denied the oil theft of over 1 billion naira while destroying 18 dugout pits, 30 boats, and 40 storage tanks.
Troops neutralized 187 terrorists during the week, even as we arrested 183 persons. Troops also arrested 43 perpetrators of oil theft, as we rescued 109 kidnapped hostages across the country during the week.
The Military High Command pledged to continue to fight for the safety and the security of citizens while safeguarding the nation. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Projects, SERAP, has called on the 36 state governors and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to immediately account for and return local government funds which they have collected over the years. SERAP's appeal came in the wake of Supreme Court's ruling that declared practice of state governors and the FCT minister withholding utilizing funds intended for local governments unconstitutional. In a statement signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, the organization said it applauds the Supreme Court for the groundbreaking decision, one it believes will end the persistent alleged misappropriation running into several trillions of naira of federal allocations meant for grassroots development. A former Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, collapsed today outside the courtroom of a Federal High Court, Abuja. Counsel to the former minister, Femi Ate, told Justice James Omotosho when he was called to take his plea that his client, whose plea was fixed for Thursday morning, collapsed outside the courtroom prior to his case being called. You're watching News Prime, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Prime returns, Rowan Cathedral spire fire as building evacuated. We'll tell you more about this and other stories when we return from this break. To stay with us.
The desk on Global Television.
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely because
that this country gets it right.
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
You're watching News Prime on Global Television with Uyi Agmofwebe. Thank you for your time with us. On the foreign scene, United States President Joe Biden will give his first press conference since his debate disaster against Donald Trump in a pressure cooker comment that could seal the fate of his re-election bid. The eyes of the world will be on the 81-year-old at a NATO summit as he tries to calm growing calls from his Democratic Party to step aside over his age and health. The White House has dubbed it a big boys conference, and Biden will be under severe pressure to ensure he can handle what has become a rare unscripted moment in his presidency. Kenyan President William Ruto has announced the dismissal of almost his entire cabinet and consultations to form a broad-based government following widespread anti-government protests. Ruto says his decision would apply to all ministers, including the Attorney General, but it excluded Foreign Minister Musalia Mudavadi. The Eastern African nation was left reeling after peaceful rallies last month to protest planned steep tax increases fled into deadly violence. The spire of a famous Gothic cathedral in the French city of Rouen is on fire, with firefighters at a scene battling the blaze. Images showed black smoke billowing from a canopy and scaffolding at the top of the building, which is around 150 meters tall. The fire's origin is unknown at this point, Mayor Nicolas Meyer Rossignol said, adding that all public resources are mobilized in response. Long-range U.S. missiles are used to be deployed periodically in Germany from 2026 for the first time since the Cold War, in a decision announced at NATO's 75th anniversary summit. The Tomahawk Cruise SM-6 and hypersonic missiles have a significant longer range than existing missiles. That's according to U.S. and Germany in a joint statement. U.S. missiles would have been banned under a 1988 treaty between U.S. and former Soviet Union. However, the pact fell apart 5 years ago. The Israeli military has told all residents of Gaza City to evacuate south to the central Gaza Strip amid intensified operations in the north. Leaflets dropped by aircraft instruct everyone in Gaza City to leave what is now described as a dangerous combat zone via designated safe routes, marked as two roads that lead to shelters in Deir al-Balah and al-Zawaidah. Let's turn to other stories for you. Now, let's go to business, where the United States Agency for International Development and the Federal Ministry of Power have signed a memorandum of understanding to secure Nigeria's commitment to electricity sector reforms, market transparency, liquidity, and expanding access to affordable power. Both parties announced this in a statement issued in Abuja by the Power Ministry. The understanding was signed by the U.S. agency and Nigerian mission, and it hopes to support the implementation of a 150.2 billion naira U.S. government grant-funded technical assistance program intended to support power sector development and reforms in Nigeria. The House of Representatives has urged the federal government to revisit the school feeding program suspended over sundry controversies. The National Homegrown School Feeding Program was a pilot program launched in 2024, targeting 12 states to provide a nutritious midday meal to public primary school pupils in the country. In 2016, the program was relaunched nationally, targeting public primary school children using locally sourced ingredients to improve health, stimulate agricultural production, and boost smallholder farmers' income. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and Petroleum and Natural and Senior Staff Association have jointly demanded an investigation into the alleged sabotage by the international oil companies, IOCs, to undermine and destabilize the operations of Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals Company. The two associations made the call in Lagos via a letter addressed to President Bola Tinubu. In assuring that the operation of the Dangote Refinery is not hampered, the unions further charged the federal government to take decisive action to safeguard the refinery for the benefit of the nation, saying protecting its assets is a priority for the citizens. Nigerians have appealed to the federal government to evolve a means of putting an end to the continuous and arbitrary increase in food prices. This is coming on the heels of the ongoing food crisis affecting the daily lives of many Nigerians. Global TV's Queen Agaba, who went on a market survey, now brings us details.
Inflation and economic challenges have driven up the prices of basic food items. As a result, millions of Nigerians are experiencing food insecurity, with many struggling to afford and access the nutritious food necessary for a healthy life. Conducting a market survey with emphasis on comparing prices from what it was to what it is now, traders lament the rising food prices, disrupted supply chains, and many economic challenges that make feeding and doing business difficult.
Things are very expensive. Even before, you can buy gari 200 naira, mudu 200 or 150, but now gari is 1,500 naira. I don't know what this country is happening. Even sugar, now even to feed is the problem to us. Even our children, even school fees. What is happening in this country? Things are very expensive. Even before, you can buy gari 200 naira, mudu 200 or 150, but now gari is 1,500 naira. I don't know what this country is happening. Even sugar, now even to feed is the problem to us. Even mangi now, mangi they are selling before 10, 15 naira, sometimes 5, 20 naira, but now one mangi is 120 naira. Everything are very expensive. Before, you can buy meat 300 naira. You can buy 500 naira. Now you cannot buy even meat 300 or 500 naira or 1,000 naira.
Price of cow now is increasing all the time. Cow we used to buy 500,000 before. Now we buy cow 1.2 million, 1.3 million to kill. And One cage is 6,000 naira each one cage now, and our customers are complaining.
Traders beckon on the government to pay urgent attention and coordinated efforts to mitigate its impact on the vulnerable population.
Look at fuel now. As they increase it every month, our president said we should have patience. He will do something. We are wanting to see what he's doing. Rather, increasing the fuel every blessed day. Imagine Gary, poor man food. I didn't know whether our president are eating Gary or what. Why the Gary is so high like that? By this hour, we are buying Gary 1,500 for a mudu. So a time will reach now, a cup will be 1,500.
Before we sell vegetable an amount of 15 naira, now from 15 naira to 100, now from 100 naira to 200, which is not fair. If you notice now, a price of spaghetti is now high. Before, a price of spaghetti was 14,000, 13,000. Now you cannot even afford it in that short amount again.
Nigerian traders are calling on the federal government to take proactive measures to curb food crisis in the country, particularly unregulated prices and some economic policies biting hard and greatly affected by many. For Global Television,
Queen Agaba there reporting. We deeply appreciate you following that story for Global Television. Let's turn to sports now. Bayern Munich has secured signing of Portugal midfielder João Palhinha from Fulham for a reported fee of 49 million euros after coming close to acquiring him last year. The 28-year-old, who spent 2 years at Fulham after arriving from Sporting Lisbon in 2022 for 22 million euros, signed a 4-year contract. Bayern has been poised to sign Palhinha in 2023. The defensive midfielder had been poised, opposed in the club's trip, but the deal fell through just before the transfer window closed when Fulham failed to find a replacement. Britain's King Charles III has congratulated England on their last gap 2-1 victory over Netherlands in the Euro 2024 semi-final. He, however, hoped there would be less drama in the final, with England winning without needing late goals or penalties. Away from football now, LeBron James and Steph Curry have made a winning start as USA teammates in an 86-72 victory over Canada in the pre-Olympics exhibition game in Las Vegas. The two NBA superstars are part of a formidable USA football roster that will be chasing a 5th consecutive gold medal when the Paris Olympics get underway this month. James and Curry are playing alongside each other for the first time as international teammates and showed glimpses of a near telepathic understanding during the game. Curry finished with 12 points, while James had 7 as the U.S. recovered from an early 11-1 deficit to cruise to victory in their final game at home before Paris. As we end the Global TV News Express, let's take a look again at some of our stories. President Tinubu has hailed Supreme Court judgment affirming local government autonomy. Appeal Court has upheld Ododo's election as Kogi State Governor. In business, members of House of Representatives have asked the federal government to revisit school feeding program. On the foreign scene, President Williams Ruto of Kenya has dismissed almost all of his cabinet following a nationwide protest. And that's it on News Prime, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles, as you now see on your screen. And we are Mofwegwe on behalf of the entire production team here at Global Television in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. We say thank you for investing a part of your time with us. We'll see you again.